Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's still the same day. I finished the video that you watched yesterday and I went and had some breakfast, come back to do some stitching like my homework, stitched in the little watering can, and then I thought, oh, I might as well just turn the camera on and take you along with me. So that's where we're at. So I'm just wanting to finish this bucket over here. So I'm just thinking about my colours. I think that colour will be all right. Is it the same colour as her skin? Yeah, it is. Or did I use a different brown? I sort of wanted the steely grey tones over here, but they're very... I will use that. It sort of feels like it's the right colour to use. I don't think it's her, but it won't really matter. It'll help it blend. So it's just simple back stitch. It's quite quick. So I'm just going to, I might pick up some extra tones in this bucket, maybe do the handle a different colour, or just so it's not too simple. Now, I was just about to pack everything up and walk it into the lounge room and sit it by my chair for later on, and I thought, oh, I sort of feel like doing some more stitching. That hour went so quick when I filmed yesterday's video for you. So, and I thought, oh, I'll sit here and stitch. So I put Sonja Steptoe's video on, her latest one, and it was on my TV, and I thought, oh, I'll just sit here and stitch with Sonja, and I'll do the bucket and the pots. And I got around that rain bucket, the watering can, and I'm like, oh, this is a bit boring. I'm sitting here by myself. I'm going to turn the camera on and just keep filming. So it's still Sunday for me. I still haven't got out and about to pick up my dog and the hydro bath, which is planned when I meet my mate who's had Bandit overnight. So that still hasn't happened, so I can't even give you an update on that. I'm just going to bring some lines across. I'm going to stay within this colour, but I'm going to bring some stitches across the top of this pail. I got a little text a few minutes ago too, between filming and breakfast and restarting. My cousin is expecting a baby. She lives down in Tassie, so it's extremely exciting. So my head's spinning. What could I make, baby? It's down in Tassie, so it's bloomin' cold down there most of the time, so a blanket is very much part of it all. Okay, there's some little lines. Now I'm just going to pick up a darker thread, I think, and put the handle on. My head's spinning with baby ideas. Little baby blankets and things. Gosh, I need more time in the day. I need a darker handle. Let's have a look in here. I've got a lot more threads elsewhere, but I was hoping I had something that would do it. That's the one I used on the watering can. Maybe I do. What's this over here? Yeah, over that. Sorry. I'm talking with a needle in my lips. Bad habit. I can hear my grandmother over my shoulder. Okay, this will just give that bucket a bit of a dark handle. Let's put them away. Don't need all those greys. Oh, I can't stop thinking about a baby blanket and what we could potentially make her. Do I need another stitching project? Probably not. Goodness. Stop it, Corrine. Can you hear the cogs turning? Now I'm going to do, I think, a little knot in that center where the handle would attach. That's it. Yeah, we probably could do something, because if we got our foundation sorted and then once we know baby's due in September, if we got a foundation sorted, all that basic background stitching, then we found out baby's born and we have a boy or a girl, we can then adjust or add we could then add some stitchery to suit, or do we just keep it neutral? Isn't that just such a safe thing to do? If it was a girl, this is my honest opinion of baby products when you're making something. If it's a girl, I'm really into it because I've just got so many pinks and all those sorts of tones. So knowing it's a girl straight up is just so much fun. But when I go neutral and then decide to enhance for a boy, it's like, oh, what now? I might just stay in these tones. I just feel like just looking at these pots, they're very whimsical. Well, I've drawn them whimsical. So I'm thinking of just blending these tones a little bit. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Let's give it a chocolate little saucer. Oh. I'll have to look up some measurements of how big a cot quilt would be. I don't know. I think I'm just getting caught up in the buzz of a baby. Happens every time. brochure something that's neutral. Or I remember her asking me ages ago that she'd love to have a piece of mine for her planned baby. And that was a couple of years ago. So finally the stars have aligned. And she's pregnant. So I wonder what I could do. Ping. I bet that's the lady who's got Bandit. I bet they're all out of bed. I bet she's come into the lounge room where the puppies have been sleeping, and I bet there's carnage from the evening's activities. Should we look? We better look. Let's have a look. No, it's the baby mama. No. That's so cool. Just going to reply to him. Sending a hug. I think we need to make something. She really likes this style that I'm doing here, that primitive stitch. See, now I'm instigating a conversation with her. She really loves this primitive stitching. So camphor stitch and fabrics and morsels. I don't know what design we could use. Maybe I could create something from nothing, you know, like come up with some drawings and stitch them in. I don't know. Oh, now I'm going to spend the whole day thinking about all this. She sent me down a rabbit hole. Like I need more stitching. Oh, goodness me. I do have something. Oh, no. Sorry, guys. I'm just sitting here thinking now. You guys are going to be just listening to my cogs turning. She's a very neutral palette girl, so if I did go down the layers of fabrics, keep it neutral, she would love it. Because it's definitely her style. Be a very good excuse to go for a little trip to Tasmania, wouldn't it, to visit. She's a Noosa girl, and her husband, I think he's a Victorian, and somehow they've ended up in Tassie. What a beautiful part of the world. They've bought a little farm. She's a OT, so that's short for therapist, occupational therapist, I think. Oh, please forgive me, girl, if I've got that wrong. It's when people have had an injury or a health issue and they're getting back into the workplace or back into society living. She assesses and helps them put together a program to, you know, get them back on their feet. And she's just announced that she's gone out on her own with a new business. She's given that up and she's starting a business. So I haven't had a chance to send her a private message because it was very vague. So I haven't had a chance to send her a private message and say, hey, you know, what are you up to? Those two pots are very similar, let me just say. We better change our thread, otherwise they're all going to be the same. So I need to find out what this new business is of hers. She's a younger cousin. I'm the oldest of, so if you picture Grandma and Granddad, and Grandma and Granddad had 3 kids, and there was my mum, my aunt, and then the brother. So this young lady I'm talking about is, oh, look at that. There's a morsel. This young lady I'm talking about is the brother's daughter, and she is the youngest girl out of the family. So their family will be absolutely stoked that there's this little baby coming. And out of all of these grandkids that I'm talking about, I'm the eldest, then my brother, then my aunt had 3 kids, and they sort of fall in line next in between myself and my brother. Then there was a few years of nothing because my uncle is a little bit younger again than my mum and her sister. So then when my uncle got married and started his family, he had 1, 2 boys, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the one that's pregnant is the youngest. So their family will be so excited because there's a few little kids now, little second cousins. So it's all very exciting. It's good when you've got some different ages within your families, because you go through this real baby run and you've got lots and lots of babies. And then when it goes quiet and they're all starting to do school and, you know, all that's over, you get a second hit of all these little babies, because there was a younger uncle who's now his kids are having kids. So we're sort of into another generation of kids all having their kids, so which makes it a bit special, doesn't it? It's like you get another rush of children. She's the last one, but all of the kids are the kids. So that's where we get the next generation. They're all starting to date and fall in love and all of this. So we're going to have another rush of kids. So for my grandmother, if she was still around, it would be great grandkids. So it's all very exciting. I think we're going to have to make her something. Going to have to have a good think about it. And I think I need to use something like this, like an old piece of linen. If I could find a piece of linen that could be stitched onto, would just be, so up her alley. She's a bit like me, a bit of an old soul. Maybe I can find something in Paris, a really old. I wonder if I stitch that pot in or just leave it. If I stitch that in, it's probably going to look quite heavy. It's the tray I'm looking at there. Do I stitch? I think I'm just going to do my classic line across the rim and leave it. I think it'd look a bit heavy. Yeah, maybe we can find a beautiful piece of linen. How big is a cot? I need to do some research. If I could find a beautiful piece of linen and then maybe come up with some layers of fabric that we camphor quilt on and then do some slow stitching onto that. bit of a whimsical, like this whimsical girl here is so it's so Amy. I'm going to say a name because it's just too hard to talk about it without, you know. See this here? Look at this. That's from that other piece. No. It's given me some ideas, but put them back. They don't belong to this piece. Okay, I do believe we have finished our pots. There we go. So let's have a little look. There's a vine that I had planned on winding through there. So I think we're going to do that next. I might use this variegated thread. Do I want something thicker? Probably. What have we got over here? Yeah, let's use a bit of this. I might have a little chat to Amy and find out if she's happy enough for me to do. Where's my needle gone? Happy enough for me to film it, because I'd love to do something with you guys. Might make a great project for the second half of the year. I'm not sure what the Roxy girls are going to be doing. Hopefully they do another series, and maybe I can make something for Amy as well in amongst it. We've got time then. Bub's due in, what did I say, September. So that gives us plenty of time to source some materials. Have a bit of a think about a design. And then pull it together. And I think Amy would get quite a buzz watching it unfold too. Be something a bit special to do, wouldn't it? So I'm just going to wind this vine around. We're going to go over. Yeah, we're going over that leg. Now I've got a new project starting later in the week in conjunction with Susanna from Vintage Blend Studio. We actually started the project back in October last year. We purchased a piece of fabric, and well, I think I did first, and then I was like, Susanna, you must see this. And of course she's like, oh my goodness, I must have that too. You know how it goes. We're a bad influence on each other. And then we're like, oh, what could we do with it? So we decided to pick a pattern and both make this pattern. So you'll find out more later in the week. So just something a little bit different, a little bit fun. It's always fun. So I hope you enjoy it. Now I've got five videos already filmed. So I really need to pull my finger and get going and get the rest of it finished because it's in bits. So I'm feeling a bit stressed about it because you guys, you'll get one a week and you guys will whip through those 5 pretty quick. Like 5 weeks will go so quick, it's crazy. And in amongst it I have this cruise, so I am feeling a little bit stressed about it all. Thinking, why did I not finish it back in October? But anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm hoping this afternoon I can have a bit of a play with it again. I'd love to tell you, but I'm just going to wait. I'm going to make yous wait. That could potentially be a gift for this baby. That's how it all popped into my head. So there's an opportunity there that becomes the gift. You'll know what I mean when you see it. I think the videos are scheduled for the 4th, which would be, let me have a look, Friday or Saturday. Saturday the 4th is the first video. So yeah, I'm going to bring, oops, what have I done there? I've jiggered that stitch. Got sidetracked. Just need you to come back out of there without ruining the chocolate. I'm going to bring that vine up onto the table a little, just to get it a bit wild looking, and to sort of help blend that table into the background. That'll work. Now we need some little leaves on the vine. So we might change threads because that wool's so thick. So we might drop down to something a little bit finer. Just don't know, do I go a darker little leaf or do I go lighter? Let's find this sometimes can disappear. I like it because it's fresh, but I think it'll disappear a little bit. I'm going to try the darker one. And instead of Lazy Daisy, what could we do? What about a little V stitch? Let's do a couple and see what they look like. Sort of gives the impression of little buds or little thin wispy leaves. So stay tuned on the baby idea, and of course on Friday the 4th you will see a new project kick off. Okay, that's good. I like that. It's just given it a softness to all of those little vines, so I can just do lots of little V stitches there. Then we've got some little reeds coming up in the corner there. So we'll have to do something there. Riveting viewing for you all. But I know you're all stitching away as well. We're just hanging out. So if I was to do something, I'm back on this baby thing. See, it's just throwing me for a spin now. If I was to do something for a cot, like a little quilt, what size would it need to be? This is a spiky looking little vine. The good thing about this thread is it's variegated, so it's drifting through some colours, which is lovely. Okay, there we go. Just a little, where's the shadow gone out of that phone? There we go. Just a little vine sneaking up. Now let's have a look at the flowers at the very end. I might use this pale green, I think. And we might just keep it grass-like. Oh, I don't know, maybe we do need a pop of colour. I think we need a pop of colour over there because we've got this floral. If I do, let's just get the stems in. Might couch that back on itself. And then we'll come up with another stem, like so. Couch it down on itself using the same thread to couch down. And we'll do another one up there. You can't even see that. It's a funny colour, this. It's sort of there, but let me zoom in a little bit. It sort of blends with that neutral, but there's a shimmer about it, so that's what saves it. I sort of don't mind it just as grass sprigs, actually. I'll keep going. I'll put a few more. I'll come over here and do a few. I don't know, do we put something on that? I'm using this full 6 strands, so it's quite a substantial blade of grass, or I don't know what's going to be here, so I can't go too far. I just feel like I do need to do something around that post. I guess if it gets covered with something, it doesn't really matter. I'm probably going a little bit out of my zone. Oh, you can't even see. I'll just do one more sprig. Like I said, if it needs to get covered due to something coming in there, oh, see, look, it's all gone pear-shaped. Stop. I'm not going to put that stitch in. It's telling me, the universe is telling me, don't go there. I'm going to knock that off. Did I do? Oh, it's fixed. Well, now I'm at a crossroads. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put a few little stitches over it. Like I said, if that gets covered, I'm not too concerned. It's not like it's incredible embroidery that needs to be considered. It's just a few strokes of some green thread to show that there could be a little tuft of grass growing there. And I'm thinking I do need some form of flower on it because that's just a must. And I'm thinking I go with a real red again. It's the same red that I used up here. I just sort of feel like it'll drag a little bit of colour over there. Now, what stitch? What about some little X's? Is the fabric, is the thread too thick for that? Let's do a little X. Actually, it really ties in with the little X's that are everywhere, doesn't it? Well, there you go. I must have been getting little messages into my subconscious to say, more X's, girl. What flower is an X? I do not know, but it does not matter. Okay, I'm liking that. Just a few little crosses. Lovely. I think that will work a treat. Okay, just a couple little flowers over there. Let's finish that off. Now what I want to do is actually stitch that sign on. So I might just pick up the thinnest of needles because it's like a suede. So I sort of feel like I need something sharp to pierce it without it ruining my fingers. What am I going to stitch around it? How am I going to do this? Let's see if I can find. Just thinking about the colour. Do I do something that's blendy? Then the words will have their own space and won't feel like they're competing. This is a variegated cotton. Probably not a good idea because then it makes it look more complex than it probably needs to be. That wool will be hard to pull through the suede. So let's just forget that idea. I'm back to this. So is it in the right spot? Okay. Nice fine thread. So I should be able to find a nice sharp needle. You know what would be really tricky, which is too tricky for me, is we write something there in French. Now, that in itself is tricky because, yes, I did learn French at school, but I was in grade 8. So you can imagine how much French actually went into the brain. Very little. I know some swear words, very inappropriate. Can't believe that's all I learnt out of my French class. So we won't be writing my French words there. I'll tell you who might know is Christine. You might know. What's the French word for shed? Or garden? I don't know. I need to do some research. Am I just getting too tricky? Let's get this little sign put on. And then I'll throw it out there to you all. What should we put on the sign? I need some suggestions. Do we get tricky and write a French word? And if you do know French and you suggest a word, please tell me what the word means, because I would hate to stitch something that is not true. I've heard Christine in her videos speak French. So I'm going to take a punt that the girl knows some French. And maybe she could write some words down that, oh, crooked stitch, that might work for us. Now, we don't have a lot of space here, so you can't even see what I'm doing on camera. I've pulled my chair back from the table. Let me thread the needle because that's got away on me. Yeah, I've pulled the chair back from the table and taken it out of shot. So let's just, whoops, let's get back into focus. So I'm just doing a little running stitch around. Now this is a very obnoxious product to be stitching, this suede, but I've got a really sharp little needle. I hope I don't break it. I'd like to do like a running stitch where I weave the needle through the fabric, but I can't. It's going to bend my needle too much. So I'm just take my time, try and keep them as straight as I can, these stitches. So yeah, pop into the comments a French word that I could put. Don't have a lot of space now that I'm stitching this edge. I've just decreased my space somewhat more, so don't give me a heap of words, just maybe I could write something even like love. What's love in French? Or garden, shed, something with a la something, LA or LE. I can't remember if it's always an LA or an LE to start a noun, or I can't remember the rules. I remember table was la porte. I think one should not be quoting French when one doesn't really know. I've got the old bonjour merci down. I nearly said the swear version. I've got a French store manager actually. Our chap that runs one of our stores is French. He'd be able to direct me with a word. Okay, just trying to get these stitches down. Should we do something fancy and do a couched stitch at the top here, just to mix it up a little bit? Oh, you can't even see. Let me put my chair back. See, what I'm thinking is we could do then a couched stitch, just to make it look a little different. So we do that, and then do that. Something a bit different. And then I'll come back along that line. I puts a little frame around it with a couple little itty bitty stitches. Maybe we'll get this finished and I can dedicate a video to something else on this panel instead of just the prompt. Looks like it'll probably only be one day. Maybe get this rose finished up the top corner. That'd be good. There we go. Our sign is stitched on our shed, other than waiting for a word or a couple of words. I don't have a lot of space, but guys, so don't get crazy. Don't be giving me whole paragraphs. just something to go in there. It'd be lovely. There we go. There's our little sign. Finish it off. All right. So what I might do is I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to turn on my iron. Oh, we need to do something down here under her feet. Now, let me grab some morsels of something. What are we going to grab? We need some of our cheesecloth. Hang on, guys. I need some cheesecloth. Here's our cheesecloth. Let me zoom up so we can see where it's heading. So we just need something through here just to, let's put a background down first. just to give it a hint of something. Don't want to cover the little foot, but we do want the foot to be in it. So now I'm going to put a little bit of green. Drift that through to there. And then we'll put a little bit of pink. Just a blush of pink through as well. And I can come right to that very end just to catch the ground. There we go. Yeah, happy with that. So you don't need much of that stuff. So now I'm just going to do some little stitches in there to catch it. How are we going for time? We are getting away. And then I'll just find a few little beads to sprinkle in there too, just to keep it in the same vein of what we're doing. So I'm just going to bring my needle and thread up here and just start couching that down with a few random stitches to hold it. So let me just turn my work a little. Oh, I feel so cack-handed doing this piece because it's just so big. But once I get my position right, it seems to come together, but I can get rid of that pin. Just a few little stitches here and there. I probably should have started. I'm going to start again. I'm going to end that. I like to work towards myself, especially if I'm already at the extremities of my reach. So where's mine? So I sort of feel a bit cack-handed there. I'm going to come up at that far end and stitch back to myself, if that makes sense. So I'm out here. That's it. Now let's get this into position so you guys can see. I've just got those pins sitting there really just to hold it for a moment, and then I can just do some random stitches. See, that feels more comfortable. I'm stitching back to me. It's much faster. Feels more natural. Once I've got some of those little stitches, I'll then have a look at the farm gate down the bottom and just see what bits and bobs I was using down there for the ground and stitch a few in. I won't need a lot because we're way up the hill now. It's not like I need to do a big feature here. It really is just a blush and the sprinkling. Otherwise it'll be this big lump of rocks, and it doesn't need to be. So like now I've just started at that end. I'll do the same. I'll go back there with this same thread and stitch just a few beads on, I think, and probably the beads the size I did in those little flowers, to be honest. I think. I could just do some French knots. Okay. Oh, you're not even seeing. I've really got myself all out of whack here. Let me get my chair. My chair is like half a metre away from the desk. Oh boy. Some days it just goes to plan, you know, you get yourself in the position at the start of filming and it just comes together for you. Let me get my chair back. I think when you start mucking around with the zoom in and zoom out, all bets are off, because it's sort of, you're on the fly of stitching and creating, so your head's in another space. You're then zooming in and zooming out, so you're throwing your field of view all over the place. That's my excuse anyway. So let's just have a quick look at the garden down here. Okay, so it's a combination of knots and beads and, all right, so where's our little, these guys, and I might do those guys. Nice and subtle. Now, let's get our hands, and we've got all of 3 minutes. Seriously, I'm going to go 5 minutes over time. It won't matter. Mr. YouTube will still eventually upload it, and just get a few in so you've got the general feel for what I'm going to do. Let's get it back into position. So I'm just going to come up here, a couple extra little stitches. And then the fun begins. Pick up a bead and stitch it down. Better look up at the camera. Can we see? Yes. Pick up another one. Can't pick up the bead. Come on. And in she goes. Another one. So what I'll do at the end of the video, I'll just pop a few photos of this finished. I'll iron it too, so we get rid of all those red lines from where we sketched it. Just jumping over to there. Couple little beads. Like I said, I don't want too many because it's in the distance. We should be barely seeing these now. I think that might do. I don't want to get carried away. It'll be a line of beads before I know it. Let's just, I've got plenty of thread there, so I'm just going to pop back over here and just pop in a couple green ones. Just a couple, just to soften that cream That's better. It's just broken up that line. Now I'm going to head back in this direction. Oh, what's going on? Tell me I've got a bead that won't go through this bead needle. You get the odd one that has just not got its hole right. I guess that's a problem with buying cheap beads too. You get a bit of a mishmash of beads. Now I've got a couple there. I'm going to jump right over here to this green and pop a few in over here. I should probably let you go. Mr. YouTube won't be liking a big long video because it just chugs and chugs and chugs. And it's probably not even Mr. YouTube, it'll be Mr. Telstra. And the lack thereof of internet service that we have in this country. I just want to get it finished. So then next video, we can do something else. I'm not going to take any cream ones over here. I'm going to keep it very green. There we go. Just subtle. I'm liking that. One more. Can't hurt. One more little bead. Just can't stop. I'm going to close that. There's one left here on the bench. So we're going to do him as well. He needs a home, unless that's a little one that wouldn't slide down my needle. Could be. Nope, he's in. There we go. Beads away. You could really go to town there, but I'm a bit reluctant. I think I'd rather put some stitches in. If I feel like that needs a little thickening up, I think I'd rather just get some green thread and do some random stitches. But I think it'll be okay. We'll have a look. Long video today. Let's get ourselves repositioned. Look how skew whiff everything got. There she is. Oh, let's zoom up a little bit. There she is. She's nestled on that side. We've got ourselves a little ground, a few little plants. Yeah. So let me know what you think I should stitch there. I probably would get la something. Don't know. It's only 2.5 inches. Oh, probably even a fraction less, 2.25 inches of space to stitch in. So don't be giving me too crazy of suggestions because I just won't have that room. Oh, love her. She is potting up a storm. All right, everyone, I'll leave you alone now. And there is my prompt completed for the potting shed. Love how those roses have come in. So pleased I could use those. And it's framed it ready for the next piece. So whatever the prompt will be, or I'm thinking maybe I'll get this beehive in. I don't know where Peacock's going. I don't know. He may not make it. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. And I'm thinking tomorrow we might come back up here. I really need to get this path done. So that might be something that I work on. Or the other thing I want to do is finish this rose. So stay tuned. See you in the next video. Bye for now.